Friends, hello, glad to see you. New crypto podcast. And today we are talking about how big projects are created in crypto. I have a guest who conducts about 5 to 6 new crypto experts in the company per day and trying to solve a task that I personally and/or many of you are still striving even after making money from crypto. And you need to store it properly and manage it correctly. I have Ruslan Tugushev as my guest. Ruslan, you came to us with that startup vibe. Here's the question. So, what problem are you solving at the current moment? And how did you get to such a number of interviews and such a large-scale task?
Yes, with my team, with whom we have been working together for 7 years. 2 years ago, we decided to get together again after a short break following our past projects to create something new. So for about half a year, we just called each other every week discussing how we could be of use. So we wanted to take on some project, choose one that we could work on, 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 years, maybe even a lifetime. And we chose a very meticulous direction in crypto that no one has done before. So we could technologically master this topic. And to master this topic from a marketing perspective, and step by step, we found such a very narrow but important direction when it's important not just to store, to multiply capital, but also to pass it on somehow, this capital by inheritance, or to make programmable rules for distributing your assets. And so we slowly came to the point where this is probably the only remaining area that is not decentralized. There are some legal entities such as trusts or family funds, and we decided to try digitalize this business and move it to the blockchain and create decentralized trusts. The product that we are currently working on is a multi-signature wallet. We call it DeTrust, which allows you to work with crypto in a safer way because our beloved regular wallets like MetaMask are responsible for security. Some people like Rabbi Wallet, some still prefer Ledger or Trezor. This wallet remains like a signature. And the main storage location is a multi-signature wallet, which is implemented as a smart contract.
You choose the name DeTrust on purpose to be associated with Trust Wallet. It recently had a podcast with CMO of Trust Wallet, and they were like, trust.
Did you do this on purpose or was it accidental?
No, this is not on purpose at all. We chose different trusts after all. It's a classic form of legal entity and decentralization. We just combined two words and got the trust.
So tell me, at what capital size do you start managing these kinds of risks? Or is it a universal thing that applies even with partners when they have shared? It's like, passing it down sounds very distant. This is cool. I even start to believe in this project after this phrase because you know how a venture valley works. You lived in San Francisco for some time. They are thinking 10, 15 years ahead. And it seems you are also looking into this project. What will be in this future? When people have accumulated enough funds or when crypto becomes more popular, the question of proper safe storage will arise. Who is the target audience of such a wallet? Because it seems like it's not
Despite the fact that it sounds like a professional wallet, some kind of inheritance and money is still wishes. In our market, young people still don't like to think about what the professional market calls insurance claims. But there are things here that can be used right now. First of all, it's a kind of double safe from a digital wallet. You can
set up a few wallets, which will also be your backups. And if you accidentally lose access to your main wallet,
if you set the time after which the second wallet takes effect, then basically you can cover yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, so you put one envelope with the words in one safe, another envelope in another safe, or somewhere over there to some trusted persons, and set a time that if the main wallet is not active, does not perform any main transactions within the specified period you set, then transfer wallet management rights to a particular wallet. This could be your wallet as well.
As I understand it, you haven't been working on this idea for just half a year. You've been developing it for several years. You started at the end. Last bull run, it's when people suddenly had all this crazy money and you're like, wait, where should we properly save this money, right?
And you built for 2
years. The first 6 months we were just talking. Then the next 6 months we wrote our vision. White paper, yes, that is we wrote. Got used to the first money, some of our own. Attracted the first investor, a seed investor. There was not even a presentation. We just had the Word document
in which it was written
what our team will be working on, what the next project will be doing is. We attracted resources, and a year ago, we started building the platform. My point is that now we are slowly wrapping up. Soon we'll show what our team has been working on for the last 2 years. Going back, especially to your previous question, do you need a lot of money to start? We built the platform in such a way that it could be tested having absolutely like a startup capital. If you already have $10,000 saved in your crypto wallet, then basically you can move to this professional wallet. There you will already have access to the necessary tools to try it out, see all the benefits, and gradually start to accumulate your capital to create your own family fund, a kind of decentralized family office where you are on self-management.
And all the necessary tools to build a long-term accumulation strategy.
Capital and its distribution were with you right at hand.
Can you give a real use case, like a user story that you are solving? For example, when I need such a wallet.
You can do it at any moment. So first of all, you can easily switch from a regular MetaMask
this
wallet to using
an app.
Multisig.
This is an application, a web extension. That is a web extension, not a physical wallet.
No, it's not physical. It's web application. The first current version will be on the web. Later we'll move to mobile. It's a bit more complicated there because there are two apps, a little worse interacting with each other. Plus, it's like putting a professional trading terminal into a mobile phone. Yes, I mean, it's like trading on a mobile phone. And when you have a big screen, it's like having a full-fledged trading terminal. It's pretty much the same. So a limited version will appear a little later in mobile. Here's the main version after all. Web app, use case of usage. So it's practically the same wallet
Like MetaMask, but with more advanced versions. That means you can.
while not giving up the main wallet. The only transaction is stored in a multisig, and your MetaMask acts as one of the keys to sign the transaction. For example, people who have never come across random transactions, like if some contract somewhere asked you for signatures, then you gave it to him and something was deducted from you. With Multisig, this is impossible because you need 2 signatures to complete a transaction. And you'll at least see that some kind of contract wants with you. Money will be deducted from your wallet and you'll have to sign at least twice to agree. Because often people, especially those from traditional businesses coming into startups,
So the stables got
and
it.
then I spent the last 5 years there practically helping their friends manage their portfolios, gathering, doing something. And when they call, Ruslan, for some reason I have no money in my wallet. Where did they all go? I'm talking. And why? Did you press these buttons here? Can you explain to me? Well, I wanted to buy some tokens somewhere over there myself, that's all. And in the case of a classic wallet, you might just accidentally, by signing some transactions, lose all your funds, your entire balance. It's clear that you can't do that with a ledger or a Trezor there, but we love quick access to your money from anywhere in the world, right from your pocket, inevitably leads to reduced security. In the case of Multisig, many
Security issues and accidental losses. It's more about accidental losses of funds.
they are leaving, considering how clickbait this story is, but the leader of the Ethereum network, yes, Vitalik,
Okay.
has already said twice, guys, forget about your ledger, forget about your Trezor, switch to Multisig because
It's safer. It's very convenient.
Are there any multi-sig examples now?
Yeah.
No need at all.
Of course we
Here's a
have it.
classic question from the Valley. What makes you different?
Here is exactly the deferred transfer of rights. The current market leader who creates multi-signature in case of transfer of rights to the second or third signature becomes an equally legitimate participant and rights holder as the primary wallet who creates. In our case, we added a bit more fine-tuning rights of others. Signatures. There is a main wallet. You can add up to 100 additional signatures to it. A wallet and granting specific rights. This wallet will be able to approve transactions after 180 days if the main wallet is inactive. He does not make any transactions. For example, in the case of using a non-profit organization, additional signatures do not have the right to use the fund body and can only use accumulated or earned interest. This is a guarantee for donors that the fund's principal will always grow through contributions of donors. Managers need to create proper strategies for increasing capital. And the money accumulated can be used for the statutory purposes of a non-profit organization. A bit more fine-tuning is the only real difference, meaning it allows for inheritance and distribution of rights.
Could you tell me a bit about your background? Because none of this would be possible without it.
It would either be your first startup or you'd still be on the street. We know you as a backstage player in several projects and sometimes even as a frontman. So what did you do before this? What's your story?
Probably the very first well-known story was the crowdfunding platform Boomstarter. We started doing it with Zhenya Gavrilin, who was probably of half Bobia.
But
Yeah,
Bees Life, whoever remembers the channel, right? In short, remember Bees Life in the comments.
We started doing it a really long time ago. How many? 15 years ago, 13 years ago.
Was it really?
This was a really long time ago.
Yes.
No
It
way,
was a
I
long
thought it
time
was
ago.
2016.
Yes, we started in 2012.
Well, YouTube was different back then, of course.
And
It
Life of
wasn't,
Pi
sorry.
was a bit later, probably around 2015,
So
2016.
2016, right
Yeah.
at the peak. Yeah, big money and everything else. Live B. Well, of course, Live B was first.
After that, we had victory. Then we created Storiqa. We thought it was also a victory, and we just fell into in such a bear market when we were finishing at 1,200 for Ether, and a year later, it became $100 here. And we just, throughout the year, we've been going like this. That's just how it was with us. Just like that, down, though we resisted as much as we could, but the market simply crushed us and spit us out.
Remind me what Storiqa was doing.
We tried to create a marketplace for ordinary goods. We raised $25 million in the ICO. We had a team of about 200 people, 4 offices in San Francisco and Singapore. London, Moscow, we built the platform and launched 1,000 stores, 100,000 products. But in the end, people didn't want to spend their money, crypto, and exchange it for regular t-shirts or plate or something like that. I think we definitely missed it. We could have seen it and quickly pivoted.
And
NFT, yeah, because in the year we launched, CryptoKitties appeared in July, but we didn't see that. So we literally needed 2 weeks of small fixes to switch from t-shirts to NFTs, and we could have kind of ridden the new wave, but we didn't see it.
And you eventually wrapped up the project.
Had to wrap it up. Yes, we finished the project 2 years
You
after
somehow
it
have to close a
started.
project where you've attracted $25 million.
It took about 2 years. We had setups in Singapore, in Holland, in Russia, in America. In other words, a rather large infrastructure has been built. It takes about a year for legal matters. All sorts of procedures that took a year to the arrival of some additional claims from people. It took about 2 years. And after that, had to shake all that off. The exhaust. It was very painful because when you're always a winner, and then you have such a failure, pull yourself together again and again. Yes, that's how we
teams gathered together.
So hold
that
on.
was the moment
So
when
say
it
good more.
appeared. Listen, somehow, time heals, ye. And I just started calling my buddy.
what are you up to? What are you doing? Because someone went off into some smaller projects, when you are like from a great height. You fall, you start engaging in some things a bit less. Yeah, it seems like everyone is smart. Everyone came up with something, found new sources of income. Well, they started calling each other, and then the second person has joined. A third, and we thought, why not? We have strength, we have knowledge, we know how the market works. We can assemble teams. We know how marketing works. We know how to manage teams. So we thought that let's see if there's a part of the business where we still can be useful, right? Let's try to do something. We actually had a lot of good advisors because we had such a big failure where, for example, you won't succeed, you won't do it. There is already high competition here. And because we were held back like this, found such a very kind of narrow enough a part that practically no one actually captured. That means practically we are the first movers, the only solution, fully decentralized, that now when it enters the market, we will do it. So there is no other solution. Basically, there are none. That is, there are hybrids when, for example, at Binance or at Coinbase has a solution for asset distribution for people who have lost access, meaning there's either the insurance case happened. Well, in different scenarios, yes. But this is a decentralized solution. There are hybrid solutions. When you provide separate keys to decentralized storage, well, there's also the notary. I mean, it's all very a mix of the classical world and the decentralized one. If you read, I don't know, the first post we published a little over a year ago, we decided We are going to try to make a product that completely excludes another person's actions on the decision of the user who created the rule. That is, if he wrote the rule of decentralized trust, it is necessary to make it so that these rules work 100 to 130 years. As long as the network works, it works so that nobody can change these rules.
How
41.
old are you? Where does this desire for decentralization come from? At its
Easier, yeah.
foundation and all that.
Listen, well, it was probably from 2017 when I first got into crypto and I was completely hooked. I was actively involved with Boomstarter and my friend Ivan came to me. Back then, he was already into mining and he told me about it. Decentralization, how it works, that there are finances that work 24/7, no banks, no financial institutions there. Your transactions cannot be processed. The government, no one. That is, if you decided to send a transaction there, only your signature matters. Moreover, you can do it from any of your devices, anywhere in the world. You just need internet and an access key. Nothing can stop it. Somehow, I got captivated by the idea that technology allows us to create rules to manage your finances without any limitations. Third parties. I found it very interesting. It's really cool when you're actually the master of your money and the rules you make for your money are the only ones that work. No third party can affect that. What do you want to do with your money?
You, I think, are in a great place. I've started doing podcasts in English. We've already done how many? About 11, I think, podcasts. And I realized that there are actually two different worlds of cryptocurrency. That's the entire Western world. That's what you're talking about right now, telling why we started our podcast with words about but how big projects are done, because we have the whole Russian-speaking crypto world there. It's all about making money, multiply something, but here they are talking about solving fundamental problems. This is a colossal difference. Here's our podcast at your level. Not that it's deep, but in terms of the level of problems you're solving with other podcasts who parasitize the crypto industry, so to speak. It's generally like it's like two different camps. Where does this desire come from? Is it just a habit because you've been doing business and creating fundamental projects for so long? You're kind of solving some fundamental problems, right? Because I barely meet anyone in the Russian-speaking community who does all this. Yeah, but even considering all the tap-to-earn projects that have been launched recently, yes, many of them are famous. They were originally launched for money.
Let me go back to the initial story.
Okay.
Yes, we actually took a really long time deciding on the product we wanted to create to make sure it worked for a long time.
How did the idea come about to focus on these trust funds specifically from the perspective of big institutional money?
We had a list of 100 directions we could go in.
So, like
It's
a
like
table,
a
like
chart,
this?
Look, there are 100 things. Artificial intelligence, metaverses, tap to earn. Back then, it was still there.
This
There's
this step is
everything
something
there.
else.
NFTs,
So we have listed all the
metaverse,
directions,
just
right? Next, the temptation was so a table on how much money is needed for this, what technologies are needed, what level of team is required for this, and we just checked off what we could do. Then we would choose the competition, how many projects are there that you can compete with, and we chose the maximum by making sure I try to do all the projects as efficient as possible in terms of both people and money, capital per person working in your team. The higher it is, the cooler. And so we slowly went on and on and on. At first, it was not multisig. It was simply that there was no decentralized transfer of assets that belonged to you. We couldn't find a solution like that. So I have MetaMask, for example.
Or I use
So
Rabbi
the
or
insurance
Ledger
event
there.
happens also. The
Yes.
wife knows how to get the money,
Yes,
even
what
if
to
it takes
do.
6 months or a year. But at least the
Yes,
family is
what to
taken
do.
care of.
What to do? Yes, we have options. What solutions? So there's clearly a key question. What if the person you trusted just isn't competent to secure this envelope so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands? My friend has a use case where he kept half the words for himself and gave the other half to his wife. Wife lost half the words and he lost his wallet. Just halfway through his words, he lost his wallet, comes in, says there. That is, not only do you have to trust this person, but you also need to be sure about the information. Will be safe enough to protect it because it's very important for crypto body, right?
Do you think you personally know people who know their crypto phrase by heart? Yes, a lot of them.
I know one guy.
So we thought about the inheritance first, then we started figuring out how to do it in a tech-savvy way. We looked for different ways to do it. We realized that this could be done with a multi-signature technology. This is how we ended up with a Multisig wallet. At first, when we said we deal with crypto inheritance, people responded, we don't want to die, guys, leave us alone.
We will live long and happily and drive a Lamborghini.
Hello, living in Dubai, everyone leave us alone. And so we slowly changed the technology, or rather not the technology, but the description. In the end, fundamentally still, so the technology is dedicated to delayed control transfer of your assets. At the same time, the person retains full control over security management and can rewrite the rules at any moment. In a classic trust, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, and some court can cancel this rule. Here you come in, press 2 buttons, and republish again a contract, and it's back online. 96 confirmations and
Cool. Why Dubai?
Dubai, perfect place for networking and establishing international business if you're not from America or Europe.
Because it
Yes.
makes
Yeah,
no sense.
exactly. Listen, like Dubai. If only it wasn't so hot. Really, I think it would be perfect.
Let's get back to the project. Multisig team, 6 interviews a day. How many people are working on it? And who are you bothering with 6 interviews a day?
Right now, I have a core team in the office. There are already 12 people plus remote employees. I usually operate like this. First, when we get a new task, I either take an agency that takes on the task or a remote worker.
If this feature is profitable for the business or some positive effect on the business. So I always translate this in
And how do you
Yes,
evaluate at the
definitely.
startup stage whether this person or role is truly valuable, since it's still hard to measure profit?
For example, if I take the task of, let's say, global PR, I need to get into the largest crypto media. Yeah, so they can start tracking you, that what you say, what you think. You release products. For example, you can hire someone directly and give them a task to work on from scratch. He will most likely achieve some result in 3 to 4 months. If you take an agency that does this regularly, then the task can be completed in 1 month. You already get an initial list of media that published you. If you get it after 3 months, a specialist of the same level in the state, he is kind of, once he got a little push, yeah, it got easier for him. Plus, does it help? I mean, we can see by the numbers. Users who join us, for example, join an early access program. Here we have early access. People come in, we tell them, show them. For this, they get pretty modest, small bonuses. Yeah. Due to this, we see how many people, we see an article was published and 12,000 people came. Out of them, 500 sent a request for early access. So this means this blog works well, this media works well. It's all sort of taken into account. It's all almost always
But look,
reviewed.
where do you find specialists? Because many people ask me, for example, how do you do it over there? Thinking of getting into crypto, how do you start working in crypto? Some people are just beginning. Such common questions. You're the person who hires people in crypto. Where do you find people? Sure, you rely on HR and maybe some databases. Where do you get your talent pool from? And what do you look for when hiring them?
You know, I'm in 2011, I think, or maybe in 2012, there was separate training on business administration. And one of the lessons, the first person you should hire is HR. Yes, and I absolutely recommend it. That is, all the businesses that I start, the first person I recruit is either an HR or an administrator of the business.
Oh, I
A
see.
business administrator, a person who does anything. Well, you can call them an assistant or a deputy. That's it. This is a business administrator.
I take either this one or that one.
If the first administrator arrived, the next one is human resources. If the first human resources arrived, the next one is the administrator. Good human resources. Helps you find either diamonds, which can be turned into brilliant cut diamonds, or ready-made brilliant cut diamonds.
What do you look for as a founder when interviewing?
Horizon. I actually really hire people with extensive experience in a specific field because I feel like that's a bit fuzzy. Hiring a marketing director right now who has been working in crypto for 7 years. There have been 4 different narratives in these 7
And he
years.
stayed stuck in the old paradigm.
Yeah, he will be using old tools that do not work anymore. Moreover, he could have lived, if you look at his resume, he had, let's say, success, failure. Younger professionals with brighter eyes, with good skills, good education, with good general knowledge, good experience, and most importantly, there is such a funny enough indicator like stress tolerance. Yeah, when you can quickly get up after falling and dust yourself off and try something new. Young specialists from experienced ones The usual difference is that experienced people try to think 10 times and act once. But here, you just need to act. Yes, here you just need to act. In crypto, you just need to, sometimes by trial and error, just keep trying until you find the working tool. Where right now, there are people who will like your product because there are actually so many products. We say crypto, but crypto has already turned into dozens of directions. Completely different audience, different regions. Your product might be liked in North America, but not in China, Indonesia, or anywhere else. In Europe, you have to find your own market and your own audience. That is, what kind of people are they? To understand why this product liked it. But let's say we do. When we were doing message for Brazil, they responded in Turkey. And we don't understand why either. Why did people see it? Why did they like it? There are like assumptions. The more assumptions you test in one day, the higher the probability. People with a lot of experience usually try to first lay it out, think.
I'll still read the young ones. What was the most difficult task you faced there in those 2 years?
On the project. The most difficult challenge you had to face.
Interesting. Good question.
The hardest task was to choose when you're surrounded. There are trending topics. Not to jump off one's path and urgently start with tap to earn. Just because everyone is doing tap to earn, it brings a huge audience and money.
Investors want to go there.
For me, it was just, it's a huge surprise when you go to funds that used to invest in tech projects.
Who looking for some interesting new directions, new technologies. They say we're investing in memes now.
Are you serious? So when the whole market was taken over by this and these last figures, yes, to this year, how much is this getting? 1.6 billion went into tech projects and 18.4 into memes. You understand there is a narrative. The hardest part was not to slip up. Continue working on the project, finish it, release to the market. I think that like cyclicality will come at some point, and the owners of billions of hamsters will also want to open their trusts decentralized. They will want to preserve their capital. Whoever makes it will switch. We want in our own. In the year 17, we had memes. These are doggy coins. These were probably my first crazy money in crypto when I just didn't understand how. Where did all the money come from? I really couldn't believe it. You just made 10x, simply 10 times. You're running a business, you have a team. Accounting was, there's always something to manage and you're constantly handling money. In a month, they increase tenfold. What is this? How does it even work? And those people who will now receive such capital from this new injection, we wish them to use it correctly and quickly understand that after all, these are very rare stories. And I recommend looking at more standard ones, less risky assets that exist in crypto. Some of the capital should still be transferred there to start creating your own sort of a large fund, a big cushion of your own. Keep looking for new topics, but with about the same like before. That is, if your thousands of dollars turn into 100,000 through your luck and proper skills, there's no need to put all that 100,000 next time. Try to increase it 100 times. You can take a chance, but that's kind of too risky. Still, you can start doing something small at 100,000. Staking small investments that bring modest returns, but keep looking for something new. And that way, add to your savings, which can generate stable passive income in crypto much higher than traditional markets. Still, because the demand is much higher and a faster growing market.
How do you manage your own capital in crypto? What do you do?
I checked what they do. Not super rich people. You know, that situation where you don't really have to thinking from morning till night about what to do with your money, because that's also a big problem. When you have a lot of money, it's have to spend a lot of time on how to keep them, what to do with them, how to spend them. I found a sort of, good balance so you can live comfortably and still earn. Yes. And I came to the replicas of the classical market, copies of bonds, copies of dividend stocks in cryptocurrencies.
How's that? Which copies of dividend stocks in crypto do you know?
Well, for example, Ether.
With a stake in, yes. Okay.
copying bonds is like with compound.
well, yeah,
Plus, you can
yeah.
stake. You can stake.
Recently, there was some kind of hack of the compound or something. Did it affect anything? Or maybe it
You
wasn't
know,
compound.
I use Aave
Ah,
more.
I get it.
Less so with compound. I also use Spark, but mostly I use Aave and Lido and everything related more to staking.
That is to say, it's kind of like
At what amount of money does your head start to hurt because it's just too much?
There were problems when I held a lot
Assets in different currencies.
And if you might remember, the president of the vision fund of this bank, yes, when he said, I am getting out of crypto because I cannot stand the quotes changing 24/7, which are considered right. I got uncomfortable when in a 10-minute mode, you can earn like there a lot of money and lose just as much money. Your counter changed, you opened, plus there are $100,000 on top of that. I probably earned them. Then 20 minutes later, you open it and they are gone. That's it. And it's a constant disappointment. I switched to more classic ones. Tools, the biggest changes I've seen so far, up to $10 million. Routine before sleep and when I woke up. When you wake up and you're $10 million in debt, you think your day is ruined because it's really tough.
Live. If take a person who has accumulated capital, they have some kind of business, they have a normal cash flow business. He already has a capital of several $1 million and wants to invest around $300,000 to $400,000.
Fit in stables. Well, he has stables. Tether on 300 to 400,000. Imagine this situation. You're at this point. What would you do? This is in principle not a bad capital to start and understand how it works. Because often the main money, if you look which overall, basically located in the world, they are in real estate, in traditional bank deposits, in gold and other types of income where there are no big multipliers. Basically, yes, it's like more some standard ones. And $300 to $400,000 is a solid start to see what if you don't lose money for a long enough stretch. You're not really risking much if it slowly grows every you can add to it anytime that's convenient and keep accumulating capital. I'd split this into 3 simple tools. Ether with staking. Maybe I would also look at maybe something like maybe Solana, maybe staked here. Or you can go for more risky ones. Yes. Well, some projects that are still infrastructural but allow staking. So you can see daily and monthly capital increase without risks. Complete loss of funds. Below infrastructure projects, it is subject to very high risks. Frequent shenanigans. A big chance to earn always comes with a big chance to lose on the $300,000 to $400,000. In principle, a decent fund that can allow to see that in crypto you can also earn similar traditional returns like real estate, bonds, gold.
So you would aim for a 10% annual return.
Not exactly 10, maybe 20. I think it could be
In dollars, that's not
yeah,
bad.
quite possible.
Especially not in dollars, but in the underlying
In
asset.
the base asset, yes. If the strategy is designed to make money, not in a year or two, but to create it so that in 15, 20 years, you can receive the same $300,000, $400,000 a year in passive income. If the strategy is like that with such a planning horizon, it can be done.
And what is your vision of crypto? For 10 years, for 10, 15 years, what awaits us? Because this is a person who builds not fundamental product designed for long-term investment. When it comes to traditional money, you definitely interact and understand, at least to some extent, the bigger picture. Plus, you see what's happening behind the scenes.
Basically, did we not even touch on the specifics of the technology during the conversation? We built DeTrust in such a way that, but purely theoretically, potentially, I think that decentralization will eventually come to traditional assets as well. Certain ownership rights over other assets will be digitized. And this ability to conduct clearing, is all available 24/7 on Active.
Transferring rights without unnecessary bureaucracy.
Will eventually lead to something probably soon. It's that's it. Maybe real estate, maybe metals, or maybe other assets will be digitized and they will work roughly according to similar scenarios. The prospects are 10 to 15 years. There are already attempts. They cannot be entirely known yet. Eventually, they will be small purchase transactions. There are some rights like that. Slowly, see some news comes along.
metals are being sold, real estate is being sold, ETFs are being created. Some real estate then gets digitized out of all this, making it possible to create professional portfolios. The problem is actually current, not quite highlighted. Yes, not a single one. The current registry cannot confirm for sure the amount of, say, shares or real estate that are actually in these registry. If blockchain finally reaches transaction processing speed, it will reach to the extent that classic assets can all be digitized, all of them. So what is blockchain? Just a regular database, right? It's just still honestly very slow. So we're talking about blockchain. It's a database, right? So just which is currently working very slowly. As soon as it starts working fast enough to manage such huge assets that have accumulated over 300 years, of course, these assets will be digitized. For now, blockchain just isn't fast enough. Once it is, all other assets will move here too. The databases will be changed. It's really convenient. And seeing the entire history, the inability to make changes to this history, it's just a convenient technology. On data storage, it'll be interesting. I think some maybe the rights will also transfer to creativity, for example.
What's your timeline? When can we test the product?
Some of the audience is already using it. We have an early access program. People are joining through search. We do some reviews somewhere. Official product, DeTrust, will be launched on August 26th. We'll launch it soon, and then you can come and use it. Create stuff will be in beta for about 4 months. Let's see what new user scenarios might emerge. We are very open to feedback. We talk a lot with our audience on Discord, on Telegram. We communicate with many people, so even those who allow it. We communicate in person. We have programmers, designers, and we ask people who use the product. On August 26th, we will try to show it to a wider audience. We'll show the results of our work and slowly attract more people.
Who is the target audience? Who do you need from a user perspective?
These are advanced users, first and foremost. They already have at least MetaMask. They know what crypto is, how to use it, how to make a transaction. What if you opened MetaMask and received the transfer? The first stables, you won't be able to send them until you have some ether. in your wallet.
Such a pain for many people. It's such a disappointment that usually awaits people.
Some at least needed to get through this first stage. We actually had an idea. We just didn't see it through. Maybe we'll create something, a tutorial course or something like that. Well, not quite in the classical sense. Don't label me as a fake guru. It's a course on how to open MetaMask. That's it. What is this? How is MetaMask different from a Multisig wallet? Because basically Multisig is, an evolution. Like you've seen that picture of the monkey turning into a human. It all started with Bitcoin Core. Then Trezor showed up there. Yeah, the MetaMask showed up. Then Ledger Live showed up. And just a bit higher. Because after all, safety, yes, when we talk about safety, a cold wallet is the best. Yes, for me, the best thing is a seed phrase, for instance, because I encountered a technical problem, for example, with Ledger Live.
Well, I understand. Yes, you imported into Trust and everything restarts there. I get it.
So, and it's like an evolution of wallets, In the Multisig, without leaving the Multisig, you can access all the DeFi apps you need there. You don't need to enter any separate DeFi every time. Connect, give permission. You can access and get inside, run apps, launch mini apps, and work in one interface.
Do you know what question I have here? We briefly touched on the topic of the training course. All right, I'm talking to someone. But even you are affected by this. I myself understand that I had a hand in this. I'm listening to you right now. I have an insight, I think. I myself had a hand in this because I called some people their fake gurus, so to speak. But you understand how much we've messed up. Really, it will take some time, and how that, including a toxic, seemingly environment a little bit, that even you at your level, such talking about the training course, subconsciously make slips. Although objectively, this is essential educational material on the difference between multi-sig and non-multi-sig. It's just necessary. There seems to be a trend that if it's an educational course, it's somehow immediately bad.
I just caught myself really thinking about it
I think it's really actually very good. I worked at Boomstarter. In 2015, I recorded a video course because I was endlessly living in airplanes and trains and going to these conferences. You arrive and it seems like you have 100 people sitting there. You explain how it works, how the platform works, how certain rules work, how to tell people about your product. And then I just said, guys, stop. I'll dedicate 2 weeks. I'll write a script. I'll record a video course. I will upload it, digitize it completely, and you can access it from anywhere in the world. Just press the button. Watch the video for 3 minutes. answered 3 questions, moved on, completed 30 lessons. And you will do the same. I don't need all this flying, walking, driving. And this course, by the way, is still available. I checked recently, came in and looked at myself. This was 9 years ago and it still works. For 9 years, people have been able to log in 24/7 to get this knowledge. So I want to make something similar, a bit smaller maybe, 10 or so training courses, what to do with this, and this. Yeah, just basic stuff.
You know what I was thinking? Guess what? For children, you also set up a separate wallet with Multisig. You set a date, for example, when they turn 18 or 21, and then you keep adding money to that
That's how
wallet.
we operate. We have that kind of feature. You can
Cute
specify
animal.
a particular date for the account to be unlocked. In fact, there's even a little Z-Spark.
And then you make it look like they can only manage returns changing percentages without touching the principal. That's just ideal.
There is such a function. We, when we were creating it, copied classical trusts and watched what do people do after they kill a mammoth. So this character, how does he, bequeath his money and how do they usually handle it? On a decentralized model, you can't fully replicate this because, say, my grandchildren can only spend no more than $100,000 on healthcare, or they're on the only housing, but we can write in percentages. That is, there is the core fund, basically basically 5 wallets. This wallet can take no more than 20% of the profits generated by the end of the year. He can take it, each multisig, only as much as they were allowed. This one can take 20, this one 30, this one 10. You could write different scenarios for each wallet.
Listen, I want to get back to the topic of investments. Why do you think there are still no proper indices in crypto? You could use your strategy, figuratively speaking. For example, Ether plus staking, Aave plus staking, and what else? Well, Solana plus staking. Make a complete index out of this and sell it to retail.
I saw some products that tried making indexes, but I think until a professional player comes along who deals with indexes, we won't get anywhere.
A large stock market created by some product.
Stock market that created some product like this.
So
Yeah,
promote it
we'll
as if
be
there's
able
no
to
retail
set it
base,
up
like
and
all that
promote
stuff.
it
Yes,
really
there is no
well.
S&P 500 and no
Yes.
retail base like Bank of America and Merrill Lynch that will sell this directly to the average client in the office. So
I think it's just that no players has come along who would take this on very actively.
friends, we've finished. Do what you love because no one else can do what you can.